Hi everyone, it's Wendy from Encore Living. This video is the second one in my series on travel. There's 5 of them. And the first one was on hiring a travel advisor, which I strongly recommend. I was a travel advisor for 11 years prior to COVID. And what you're expected to know is considerable. You really learn a lot about cruising. You learn all the ins and outs, who to go with, who not to go with, what's included, what's not, whatever. You have to know all this stuff. You have to read all the fine print before you can recommend it to somebody. So you know exactly what your client wants and what they are going to get. Before you say anything about I hate cruising or I've never cruised and what I've seen on television and from videos, I would never step on a ship, hear me out, okay? What you see is usually ships that have thousands of people on them. And if I asked you to name a cruise ship, you could probably name me a few, like, okay, Carnival, Norwegian, Disney, who else is there? Princess, Royal Caribbean, and then you would say, that's it, that's all I know. Well, you haven't even scratched the surface. And those ships are all huge. And when I was a travel agent, I knew that my clients, who were usually over 50, wanted something smaller, wanted something quieter. They're not partiers. They didn't need a casino. And they wanted a smaller, more luxury hotel experience, okay, on their ship. They wanted to get into port every day, and they wanted to see places, where they can consider maybe another year going back and spending some time in that location. So anyway, I wanted to mention a few ships. They're all smaller. You can get on a ship. One is called, I think they're still around, Uncruise, which has ships that are as small as 12 people, 12 passengers, and ships that are, usually have maybe, I don't know, 600 to 1,200 people. They're smaller ships. They're more expensive. But if you think about it, and I would recommend to somebody, if you're going to go on a cruise, and you can go on a 14-day cruise, and great price, or you could go on a 7-day cruise with a really nice ship for the same price, I would recommend the 7 days and be treated really, really well. Okay? So anyway, let's talk about some of these ships. There is, I bet you haven't heard of any of these. Paul Gauguin. Paul Gauguin is a ship, and I'm not quite sure how big they are. I should have checked before I did this video. They're probably around, I don't know, 800 to 1,200 people, but they don't have casinos. They're in Tahiti, for goodness sake. You want to spend some time there, you're going to be spending time on, they even have their own private islands, so you're going to spend a couple of days there if you want, depending on the particular itinerary you want. But they're beautiful ships, and that's their specialty. Another one, Azamara. Azamara, they are considered one of the ships that spends a lot of time in port, okay? So instead of instead of spending all your time on the ship, you're in port quite a bit of the time, which is something some people really enjoy. They also do particularly tours, like if you wanted to go up to Ireland or Scotland, they partner with a golf company up there. And so if you want to do a golf trip, they'll take care of you. Really, really nice. They'll book it all for you. So that's a really good one. There's a river cruise company that does that too. I can't remember the name offhand. Anyway, there's your high-end, smaller ships, Silver Seas, Seabourn. They often include your flights. So the price includes all that, plus they usually include all alcohol, and of course your meals and everything are all included. Sometimes them have butlers, depending on what level you book. And remember, you don't have to book, a huge suite. You can have a smaller suite. So it's not one price. It's various prices, okay. So anyway, who else have I got? Yeah, another one is Regent Seven Seas. Now this is really high end, and I know a lot, when I talk to people about this, they want a really nice cruise, and they hear the price and they get sticker shock. Oh my God, that's way too expensive. But when you get into something like Regent Seven Seas, you're looking at something, a cruise line that is including everything. All your tours are included. You don't pay extra for that. Your pre and post hotels are often included. Your business class seats are included. You know, so your top shelf alcohol is included. So you have to consider this, because a lot of times when you come back from a cruise, you look at your Visa bill or your MasterCard bill and you see all these charges on there. And with a company like Regent, you're not going to see any of those charges. It's going to be zero if you didn't book a spa treatment. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the few things that you do have to pay for extra. But so it's the inclusivity. You have to look at that if you're booking a cruise. What's included? And it's really nice to have a travel advisor who does all that for you, so you don't have to do that. You can just say, make sure that this is included. I want this, 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 this. And they can come back with a price and a recommendation for a cruise line that will fit you. Okay, so you won't be on one of those horrible ships, or at least I think are horrible, that have 5,000 people on. Oh my God, that would be awful. Okay, so and then there's the yacht style, you know, the ones with the like Windstar or Star Clippers. They have the sails. They have the sails. Oh, lovely. But you don't know the difference between Windstar and Star Clippers. There is a difference. So your agent would know that, you know, if you wanted to do that, oh, I'd really love to do that. But I don't want to be on a party ship, you know, and where all the people are young and they're just partying. So maybe you'd want to go to Windstar, which is a little more your age group, I would imagine, you know, maybe 40 and up. People who are not interested in parties. But I don't know what you want. Your travel advisor would be able to help you with that. Anyway, so yeah, that's something you could consider. Small yachts. Ooh, that'd be lovely. All right. So anyway, what else? Oh, so river cruising. Okay, so if I was going to recommend a high-end river cruise, like I would say Uniworld. Uniworld is number one, supposedly on the river, that has the best food. You could go on Viking. Now, Viking is, I think, kind of the IKEA of river cruising, not because it's cheap or anything, but because it doesn't carry a lot of stuff you don't need. You know, if you don't want to get your hair done on the ship, or you don't need all the little extras, then Viking may be just the thing for you. They don't have hair salons on board and stuff like this that you don't want. I had a client who didn't drink. They didn't want alcohol included, so I put them on ships. They didn't pay for that, you know, because a lot of these more expensive cruises, they include all the alcohol. Okay, you know, so anyway, you have to consider that, and an advisor would be able to help you pick that, because you could be all day looking for things like that. What else can I tell you? Yeah, there's a lot of fine print on cruises. Okay, lots. So it's good to have somebody who can take care of all that for you. And another thing, you know, if you're on a cruise ship and maybe you're going around Italy, and you say, well, I want to be able to see the shore for most of the time. You know, that would be really cool. So depending on the direction you're going, your travel advisor could easily look that up and say, well, we need to put you on the port side of the ship, because that's going to be, you're going to be able to see that a good portion of the time. So yes, they'll be able to tell you that. They'll be able to pick the particular spot on the ship that you would have the view that you wanted. Okay, if you go through a company like Vision Travel or Virtuoso, and Virtuoso's below in my in a link below for them, because they'll show you a lot of things that they've got. They're a high-end company that works with other agencies, and they have connections with everybody, so they can get you all sorts of things, all the perks, you know, like like transfers. Instead of paying for transfers, it would be included, or your first night hotel could be included. Spa treatment could be included. They could have a social party at the beginning of your cruise that is just for Virtuoso clients. So that's something to consider. Yeah, or they may include all the tour, a couple of tours just for virtuoso people. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, cancellation policies, all sorts of things, tons and tons of fine print, and so you need to know that. You need to. I would suggest hiring an advisor, or you can go through it all yourself if you like, to get all those little perks that advisors know that you might not know. Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep it short. That's the end of it. I'm going to put a couple of links below for some of these smaller ships that you've never even heard of, and they are specialty ships, and you should check them out. You know, I know. I want to tell you something about what a travel advisor could do for you. I booked a client on a cruise in Norway, and it was really great. It wasn't a fancy cruise. It was just she wanted the real thing, so I put her on that. What was I going to say about it? Oh, I can't remember now. I'm not gonna make you sit there and wait for me to try and think of what I was going to tell you about it. But anyway, I booked the whole thing for her. It was wonderful. She loved it, and she immediately booked with those people, me again, with another cruise someplace else that in the north like that she wanted to see. She was so happy with it, you know. So darn it, I wish I could remember what I wanted to talk to you about that. Well, I can't remember. Anyway, oh, another thing you can do when you're on a cruise is if you go and you want to book your own tours, you can do that too. So there's so many options. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, and we'll talk about it another time. So I'm done. Yes, I'm going to put a couple of links below for you as to. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. This is important. Okay. Anyway, I booked her a cruise in Norway with a company. And what a travel advisor will do for you, which I did, is I kept an eye on that cruise, okay, to make sure that it didn't go on sale or there was something special going on that I could include. And sure enough, you know, I think about a month after I booked that cruise, I noticed that her itinerary went on sale for less. And so I phoned up the company and I said, look, can I book my client on that? And they said, well, the dates are a little bit different, but yeah, you can if you want, and we'll get you the deal. So I phoned my client and I said, would you be willing to go 2 days later? She said, sure. I said, well, then I can get you $1,000 off. Yes, I can. So that's what I'm going to end there. That's it. Thank you very much for paying attention and sticking it out till the end here, because that was a real interesting perk there. And I will talk to you again. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about next time. Maybe tours. Okay. So if you like my content and you've got this far, please subscribe below or follow me. And please comment. I will be happy to give my recommendation on a cruise ship or an advisor you might like to book with. Okay? And they will be below. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.